Yes, Hammy, what was your vibe? Do you think we could see him back behind a gate at some stage?
Well, I might have a little bit of inside goss for that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it might be sooner than you think, too.
Hey.
Look, he absolutely loves it. He hasn't missed it until this round. He said, I've got the itch. I really wish I could ride this one. And no doubt, look at the track. It was fantastic. But he's saying, yes, maybe we might see him line up. It won't be a big effort. It'll be there for fun. So that's the main thing. And I'm sure that the fans will absolutely love seeing him back out on the track. But the one thing I did take away from the whole thing was just there was a lot of emotion in the fact that they picked up a podium. He was so proud, and you could really see it in the way that he presented himself and when he was talking to me about it. So proud with how the team was going. So fantastic, as we said, to see him still well within the sport and continuing to grow.
And also for him to say, we're ahead of schedule. I wasn't expecting this quite yet. That's just being realistic, isn't it? And I tell you what, when you set tough expectations for yourself, like I know Brett Metcalf would, to be ahead of schedule is a really good thing. And he honestly, can take a bow. He needs to be very proud of himself. And I'm sure it's not the last of the podiums that we're going to see, but I would love to see him back out again. If anything was going to give him the shot of adrenaline, the fire in the belly to get back out again, it would be this place. He would have to remember from last year what it felt like. He would have heard the crowd and he would have felt it the moment he got here. Let's take a look at the lineup. Kawasaki MX-1, Kyle Webster, Jed Beaton, Luke Cloud, some of the biggest names in our sport. They continue. Kirk Gibbs, Max Purvis, Nathan Crawford, Todd Waters, Wilson Todd, Zachary Watson.
Rogers after a fantastic result in Moto number 1. Liam Jackson looking to go out and redeem himself after that. Looked like a DNF. Oh, Evans was up there also. Duffy was also up there. So plenty of riders looking to rebound in Moto number 2 here. The final race of the day for the Kawasaki MX-1 at Gillman Motocross track. It has been a sensational performance so far by all of these as we have the 15-second board up. Final race of the day, about to go sideways. Do we see another start from the inside? Can Clout get that whole shot that he wants so desperately? Get a good start, run up there with those lap times he know he can do. We're about to get all the answers.
Good jump from Clout out the inside. Terrible jump from Jed Beaton, but Kyle Webster comes across. If he can control the first turn, will it be him or Clout? No, it's Webster, but Clout slots straight into second place and almost takes the lead there. Rogers off the side of the track.
Yeah, Rogers off the side of the track had nowhere to go, and somehow Beaton has put himself there in third. There is Wilson Todd. There is Nathan Crawford. He's a long way back. What about Kirk Gibbs? I missed seeing him go through. Well, was that Gibbs that actually just went down?
Someone went down hard, and we have Clout just ahead of Beaton now. Let's have a look at the intensity from Beaton to see if he can slot himself into second place straight away.
CDR Monster Energy Yamaha crew knows exactly how important it is for Jed Beaton to get up there and race with the number 1, but he is going to have to work his way through, and I don't mean around. He's going to have to go through Luke Cloud if he wants to get there. The WP Whole Shot Award going to Kyle Webster, and that was a close one.
Have a look at the speed that we're seeing in this early first part of lap number 1 for Kyle Webster. Beautiful line there. Similar line from Jed Beaton, but didn't quite hit that same mark.
Not quite as tight as our race leader, or that was the hole that we saw in the last race. Yes, you actually have to jump over it to get into the face of that tabletop. So we'll keep an eye on these lap times because this is really going to tell the story as our riders start to get themselves into this moto.
Look at the gap that Webster has pulled already in 1 lap. He has gone. Can he keep this pace up? Just already up and over that jump. Jed Beaton trying to go to the inside. See, the thing is, he needs to try to get up into second place, but you can't afford to do something silly and have a little crash here in the early stages, can you? You just lose so many positions.
Already these guys battling through. Oh, how was the setup and line there from Jed Beaton? That was poetry in motion.
Glorious.
Absolutely beautiful to watch. Now puts himself into second. So
have a look at the corner spare.
It is all about this guy now, what he can do from here, and if he can close down that gap, not allow our race leader of Webster to get away. That was beautiful through those turns.
Yeah, that was great. I think already he has started to inch back in a little bit on the race leader, on Kyle Webster. He just needs to make sure no major mistakes that's going to cost him any time, but he is flying at the moment. Have a look, the look over the left shoulder from Luke Clout, just going, am I riding slow or are these guys just pulling away? Well, no, you're not doing anything wrong, Clout. You've just got two riders that are in an absolute battle at the moment.
Let's have a look at the Honda replay. Watch the 14 here, out wide, sets it up, and then we'll go tight. I mean, very tight. A line, there is no line there until he creates one. And what a beautiful pass that was.
Yeah, that was amazing to watch. Another look over the right shoulder. I think he's just been caught a little unawares in this first part of the race. No time for Luke Clout to ease his way into that race pace. And he's just making sure that he doesn't have anyone all over the back of him as he watches. Jed Beaton has just checked out off into the distance a little bit. An over jump.
Fastest lap of the race goes to Jed Beaton at a 150.4. And yes, that over jump, Lee, he landed very, very hard off that jump into the face of one of those rolling whoops just before the finish line. You don't want to do that too many times. It really beats you up on the bike.
Well, a little bit of a kick starting to develop on the first of those four rollers there. Let's have a look in the exit of the corner. Without a doubt, Jed Beaton has started to chip away. Our times tell the same story. Last time around, a 151.7 for Kyle Webster, a 150.4, so almost a second and a half, and the gap is 1.9 seconds.
So this is going to be a tactical race by both of these guys. Webster is trying to just run away and hide at the moment, but you've got to get to a point where you go, okay, I'm not getting away from him. Let's just ease it up, save some energy, and ride within our limits so that we don't go over the top trying to pull away, and we'll ride this one out.
Just going to watch closely here and have a little bit of a look. I'm not sure if I'm seeing things, but I thought I might have seen the slightest puff of smoke from the back of Webster's 450. So let's keep an eye on that. Might have been an optical illusion, but we'll keep our eye on it.
There is Clout's third place. Massive gap to the next place rider back from there, and that is Wilson Todd. 145 of Maximus Purvis. He sits there in 8th place at the moment. He hasn't had a chance to do any riding since the last round. He's in behind Joel Evans on the 81 machine. Purvis still under the injury cloud. Hasn't had a chance to ride since the last round. It makes it very difficult when you start to get a track like this. It's for Gillman, it's not overly rough, rightly, but it is intense at the moment the way it is.
Yeah, look, it looks brutal as far as trying to juggle the sharp edge bumps and the big rollers. It's you can't really prepare for one or the other. You need to prepare for both, and that comes down to how you're riding as well as how you set your bike up. So it'll be interesting to see how these riders do as they get towards the latter stages with a couple of laps to go. But we're a long way away from the checkered flag coming out. But I just quickly want to make mention, if positions remain the same, we will see Kyle Webster 125 points in the series and Jed Beaton 135 points. So just 10 points the difference when you consider one whole moto has been dropped by Kyle Webster.
Huge points haul. And I think the rolling momentum from just the fact that he goes away with a win here would be the biggest killer out of everything. You see Crawford now got himself there in front of Wilson Todd. Continues to move forwards. Quite a long ways to our next rider, which will be Clout. And Crawford, with his good result in the first race, would put himself onto the podium if they remained here in these positions.
As was the case in Moto 1 of the Kawasaki MX-1 class, the duration 25 minutes plus a lap. Same here for Moto 2. We currently have 18 minutes plus a lap to go. So still so much racing. On screen at the moment, we are watching Wilson Todd on board the Repco Honda HRC machine. Really quite impressive considering he still has broken ribs and a fracture in his lower leg.
You'd have to think that these riders, especially in the position that Wilson Todd's in, will be looking around, trying to find those lines. And they're out there, right? There's some lines out there that are nice and smooth, or should we say less rough, less sharp, that these riders will be looking for. And it's amazing how much energy you can save, right, when you find those lines.
Yeah, absolutely. If you can just try to go this way or the other way and just try to stay off those main lines, you get yourself in some nice dirt, trying to have a close read there of what the pit board's saying, a gap of 2.6.
Yeah, flow lines and things like that is what is going to hurt. So a big mistake coming through there has allowed Beaton to the back wheel. That applied pressure is now absolute pressure from the Yamaha rider in there in second place. Do we see a string of mistakes or just slow pauses in corners like we saw just there, now that that pressure has been applied a bit more?
Well, I think Kyle Webster would well and truly know the moment you make a mistake like that, you need to get the wheels back on track immediately and not let it snowball. And that's something that, you know, when you go from a junior up into the MX3 class, that's the kind of thing you expect to see sometimes, is a mistake turns into another mistake and then perhaps a little tip down, and you get to chat to the rider when they come back in. What happened? Well, I don't really remember. All I know is things started to go bad and I ended up on the ground. Well, we're seeing more and more pressure coming from Beaton here.
Did you see that line by Beaton down the very right-hand side? He's right, coming down that hill. Not one single bump, but then goes and loses the time by missing the line just there on a very simple turn.
I think what we've seen, mistakes from both riders, they are riding at their absolute limit. Now, they make this look like they're doing it easy, like a Sunday stroll, but it's not the case. When you know these two, they ride and train together every day of the week down home in Melbourne in the Beatons Pro Formula setup, and they're so used to each other and how they react in certain circumstances. So for both of these to be able to make a mistake like that and then straight back into it once again, you know they're on the ragged edge.
Oh, good battle here, Purvis, Waters. That there is for 6th and 7th. Looks like Purvis has made the pass around Todd Waters as Waters gets very sideways coming out the back side of that rut. Up and over the tabletop for Waters. Like it was going to be a bit long, but actually landed not too badly through there. Oh, Webster. He's absolutely lit the afterburner.
Yeah, he's responded exceptionally well to that mistake, hasn't he? He's just got it back on track again, hit his marks for the next lap, and he's got that gap back to where he wants it to be. Doesn't want to be under pressure from the number 14.
That very difficult section of the track. Nice flows through that corner, jumps into those rollers, gets it perfect, bounces over some of the braking bumps, and then picks up that turn nice and early. Steps it in. We'll see the next split to see what the difference is. 2.6 at the first split, 2.5. So creeping back is Jed Beaton. That there is just simply a mistake. There's that line down the inside. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's super tight, isn't it? And really you only have 1 or 2 bumps at the very bottom of the hill. It does make the turn a little tighter, but when you've got the cornering skills of someone like Jed Beaton, you can turn that thing on a dime, so it's no problem whatsoever. He's looking very smooth at the moment, as you would expect. He really does make it look quite easy around a track like this, doesn't he?
He does. 14 machine, red plate. If it stays like this, like you mentioned, Lee, that is going to chew into some of the points lead that he had. They now get into some lapped riders, which Webster admitted out of Moto number 1 were quite the challenge to get through and cost him a lot of time.
Okay, so Red Cross flags out, and we've had a rider down in a big way. Try to pick up who that is, but rider's doing the right thing and really slowing down. Super polite. Number 88 on board the Husqvarna Oats MX machine.
So there.
Go. Had a little bit of a trip in there to the mechanics area. Not sure if he's had a little bit of a mishap, a bit of a crash. Looks like a bit of a problem with the front brake cable.
Good battle here, Liam Jackson and number 8 machine of Zachary Watson. There is for 8th and 9th in the field at the moment, up and over the finish line. Battle we're very used to seeing both of these riders in the top 10. Once again, they find themselves there deep inside it. Moto number 1, not the way that Jackson wanted it to go, obviously, when he was into the pits. Seen a lot of riders, though, in the pits today.
Yeah, so just a bit of an update there. It's the number 81 of Joel Evans that has had that crash, and with the medical, and all the riders right the way through the pack doing the right thing and slowing right down, as we are back with our race leader, who continues to have company in the form of the number 14 Monster Energy CDR Yamaha rider Jed Beaton. Just 1.5 seconds. Red flag is out. Red flag, as we can see up on the left-hand side of the screen. Kyle Webster does not know yet, has not been waved at him. So we are well into this race here.
Half race distance. Have to see how they play this one out. But of course, this is all about the safety of our downed rider. They will come first.
Yeah, safety paramount, and we've said it before earlier in the show, we'll say it again. I believe we have got some of the best first aid crew in the world here with our Race Safe crew, and it's been proved time and time again. So you would have to believe that Joel Evans is in the best hands possible. We hope he's okay.
That's like he might be already on his way back to the Race Safe truck. This is going to close everything back up. I would suspect they do a staggered start. There is Luke Clout still making his way back to the...
Yeah, Danny, just while we've got this quick little pause here, just on behalf of the whole motocross community and everyone here at Pro MX, we'd like to send out our heartfelt condolences and best wishes to the Kyoto family, the Monza Imports crew, with the devastating passing of Mark Kyoto. So our thoughts and best wishes go out to them.
So this is a tough position for these riders to be in. They've done 13 minutes, half race distance at what was 100% for this guy on screen at the moment, the number 1 of Kyle Webster.
Right, he's not even breathing heavily.
Stop making him look immortal, all right? Us guys, we get a heart rate up when we run into the front door, and he's just done 13 minutes at full pace. Not even in the big ones.
Yeah, it's making it look exceptionally easy out there, as our spectators, a little bit of a worried look on their faces, and our thoughts, of course, going out to Joel Evans. We hope he's okay. There we see Wilson Todd on screen.
He had to take a deep breath. Thanks, mate. Thanks for making us all feel human.
Yeah, so, yeah, a little bit of a sort of unknown at the moment, isn't it, really? They're all sitting here. Right, what's next? Are we lining up? Are we going? All right, well, time for a quick break here. We'll be back very shortly. Welcome back to the Penrite Pro MX Championship, presented by AMX Superstores, where Gillman, the wind has picked up a little bit here, but the track conditions are brutal. We're going to head down straight away down to Danny Ham, who's got some of our MX1 riders.
Yeah, I've got Regan Duffy here, who was out there. Regan, great to see you back in this championship, of course. It's been a pretty tough day here today. The performance so far, is that up to your expectations of how you wanted to be here at Gillman?
Oh, definitely not. You know, I thought Appen would be the difficult one for me, but I felt better on the bike at Appen, and yeah, I'm getting my money's worth out here now, just going back and forth with every single rider on the track. So yeah, it's good. I'm happy to be back. You know, I can't complain. If I'm 5th or 15th, I'm still out here, so it's a win for me.
Look, it's a hard slog to come back from any of these kind of injuries, and you've spent a lot of time off just to be out there getting the results. We were very impressed with the way round number 1 went for you. It takes a long time to get back, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for me, the difficult thing is having really good training weeks, and then the lack of racing. I come here on the weekend and it's just really difficult. That race intensity is a whole nother level, as you know. So yeah, we're just trying to tick the boxes, get the bike right, and hopefully get the pilot on the thing right.
Well, good luck for this one, mate. I hope to see you back out there in a good start. It looks like they're going to be doing a staggered start. I've just overheard them talk about it. I don't know the full details of it. Could be a shortened race towards the end of the finish, but a staggered start by the sound of it. We'll try and get some clarification.
You couldn't see Regan in the background there. He's definitely got you covered there, Danny Ham. Well, hopefully, yeah, we get some kind of clarification on that sometime soon. A staggered start, we've seen quite a bit of it in recent times in the USA with our Monster Energy Supercross Championship, and it makes things interesting. All of the riders that had a little bit of gap they needed to make up from the next rider in front of them, they'll be able to start right behind the rider in front of them. It'll give them plenty of opportunity to try to climb their way through the pack, as we see our spectators here sitting down, patiently waiting for this to get back underway. All right, let's go back down to Danny Ham.
It's a very uncertain time for the riders. It's not something that we usually have to deal with. And as you can see just behind me here, oh, they were just a moment ago, CDR, Monster Energy Yamaha. We're doing a lot of talking here with Maximus Purvis. Now, Purvis is dealing with some injuries from previous rounds, so very important information